12th, so you could basically say an entire month. But I had a good time of resting, and it's a pleasure to be back engaging with you listeners from across St. Kitts and Nevis and the diaspora. Let me also use this opportunity to extend belated happy Mother's Day greetings to all of our mothers here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and those of you under the sound of my voice. Thank you so much for what you do for our nation, for our communities, and thank you for being strong and resilient mothers. Today we have representatives from the Department of Environment, and the discussion will be centered around, let me say, all things environment. We have in studio Dr. Elric Francis, Senior Environmental Officer, Dr. Eric Brown of the Forestry Unit, and Akwanje Robinson as the Youth Forum representative. And the discussion will take us up to about 11:30 thereabout, and we'll jump right into why we're here today. So we know, as it is right now, we are in the first phase of the plastic ban here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I just want to say, from my vantage point, I think people have been responding relatively well to the plastic ban. I think what I've said to people is, man, we're going to get accustomed to it. We're going to get accustomed to it. It's not the end of the world. Of course, the first time when you go to the supermarket and you don't have your plastic bag, or you're told that no more plastic bags, it's something for you to adjust to, but it's not the end of the world. Where are we now, Dr. Francis, as it relates to the plastic ban?
All right, good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the ladies in the audience. We're actually on phase 2 of the plastic ban. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has initiated a comprehensive 3-phase plan to eliminate single-use plastics, aiming to protect the environment and promote sustainability. So it's a single-use plastic ban phase-out plan, and phase 1 was concerning the t-shirt plastic bags, or what we call the shopping bags. So each phase has 2 parts. The first part is the ban on importation of the product, because for the most of these products, we do not manufacture them here.
Right.
And then the second part is the ban on distribution, sale, and manufacture, in case, we make them here. So phase 1, the import ban was effective on the 31st of December 2024, and the ban on distribution, sale, and manufacture was effective the 31st of March 2025. So now we are now in phase 2. Phase 2 concerns styrofoam containers, plastic straws. Some people might have some, some opinions about that. The styrofoam egg crates and other items that are designed for single use. Okay, so these items, they are commonly distributed at restaurants, bars, and other establishments that sell food and drinks. So they are used typically for packaging and serving and storing food. So the ban on importation of these styrofoam containers is already in effect. It was in effect the 30th of April 2025. And then the ban on distribution, sale, and manufacture of these products will take effect on the 31st of July 2025.
What has the public response been like from your perspective in terms of individuals and businesses?
Well, I can tell you, for the businesses, it was very eye-opening for us, in that the businesses wanted us to go further.
Okay.
Right, because this initiative, it wasn't just started this year. It was a long process. The department had no plastic Mondays, bring your own bag Fridays. We had a lot of sensitization campaigns, and so a lot of the supermarkets, especially, many of them were already proactive, and they were already importing the reusable bags, and they were already incentivizing their shoppers to utilize the reusable bags. So now, and it's like I said, it was funny when we got that feedback from the distributors, in that a lot of them, they just wanted us to just ban plastic bags outright. No phase out, no give you leeway, no time frame. Just you say ban. Because what they said, because when you talk about supply chains, because we gave them a heads up, they said, okay, we normally order this amount of plastic bags and it would use up in this amount of time. So because the ban on distribution was coming up, a lot of them did not order any. Okay. And so many of them, they were already proactive. So now what happened is that some supermarkets, they were trying to say that they were caught flat-footed, but they weren't. So because there's a competition, because it's different, they're competitors, they would said, okay, we are prepared. It's not our fault that our competitors aren't prepared. Right. So they wanted the department to go very strict on that. And then for the public, the public, through our many consultations, many of them have already adjusted. They have already said it to themselves. Okay, I know. It's like a habit now. Okay, when I go in supermarket, make sure I have my bag. Yeah. And so that is the feedback that we have received. It has been mostly positive. The issue that we have is that some people were concerned. Maybe we weren't effective in communicating the exemptions. So one of the major complaints we were having is that, okay, they just say we're banning plastic, we're thinking we're banning all plastic. All plastic, right. So one of the major concerns people saying with the plastic bottles, oh, you're banning plastic bottles, what are we going to do with the plastic bottles? I have so much. So I just want the public to know plastic bottles is not one of the banned products. And
again, it's in phases.
Yes.
So the first phase is the t-shirt plastic bags, yes. And then I think the second phase is the styrofoam containers or something to that extent. But Akwanja, I know you're also with the Department of Environment. What has the response been like from your perspective, both businesses and your peers?
Well, I don't work in the department specifically, but I work in the ministry, in the administration.
Okay, yes.
So my experience from interacting with the various stakeholders will be different to the staff of the Department of Environment. But based on my experience, when it comes to, the shushu on the road, I think at first people weren't pleased. Like they didn't welcome it with open arms as a policy, right. Because generally people don't understand the environmental importance of such an approach. But with my peers, again, as a result of limited understanding, they firstly they didn't embrace the ban. But like Dr. Francis said, naturally people adjusted. So I think people are well acclimated now, and they know what to do now.
And I think with time, again, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to get accustomed to it.
Yeah, because we have no choice, really.
And when you look at other countries across the region and even internationally, you're not getting plastic bags when you're going to shop anymore.
That's the reality.
And so when you look at it, St. Kitts and Nevis really, I don't want to say that we're behind, but there are other countries who have taken this step to ban plastic t-shirt bags and other forms of plastic. And so again, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay with us.
ZIZ Radio, the golden voice of the nation.
Whether it's a dress store on 4th Street, a snacket in Kayon, or a village grocery in St. Paul's, our small businesses play an important role in our economy. By supporting these businesses, you are helping to create or keep a job or two and to revive our economy. Support our local small businesses. Buy local and keep the doors to our small businesses open. This message is brought to you by ZIZ in support of our small businesses across the Federation.
Get ready for Soul Beach Music Festival, May 21st to 26th.
Without you in my life.
5 days of music, comedy, and beach parties. Catch Cedric the Entertainer, Dougie Fresh, Uni Long, and Charlie Wilson.
Hey girl, how you doing?
Dance all night with DJ Jazzy Jeff, featuring local guest stars G Money and Outkast. Locals save 30%. Sponsored by St. Martin Tourism, Port St. Martin, Princess Juliana Airport. Visit soulbeach.com for details.
Hello and welcome back to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining me on the program for today. For those of you who are just tuning in, we have Dr. Elric Francis, Senior Environmental Officer, Dr. Eric Brown of the Forestry Unit, and Akwanje Robinson, who is the Youth Forum Representative for the Global Sustainable Island Summit. And today we're talking all things environment. Looking at still on the plastic ban, Dr. Francis. So we've seen where, for the most part, people are embracing the ban, the first phase of the ban. Has there been any instances where where the department or the ministry has had to issue any warnings, any penalties?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So what we try to do, because there's two parts of the legislation. There's the labeling standards and the environmental labeling standards. And so through no fault of the distributors, we were working with the Bureau of Standards for national labeling standards for plastics and renewables in St. Kitts and Nevis. And now they were working with international and global standards, and they try to get things standardized, because when you have a standard, they have to be able to test it to see if whatever product you have meets the standard. So that was a time-consuming endeavor, and so it was just recently, let's say earlier this year, that the Bureau was able to formalize the standards and put them in effect. And so what we ended up having is that there was a bit of confusion in whether or not we would accept, biodegradable plastic bags. And but the thing is, because the standards wasn't enacted as yet, some companies were, let's say, allowed to distribute some plastic bags. But then when we ended up testing them, we realized that they didn't meet the standards, and so we had to go to them and we had to say, look here, you cannot distribute these things. And so you have to take them away, otherwise you risk the penalty. And what is the penalty? Is $3,000 first offense, and then it's $15,000 for the second and subsequent offenses. And when we were coming up with these fines, we looked on the regional level, and we're not even at the high end of the fines. We're actually well up close to the bottom of the fines, especially for the first offense. So we want to let people know, especially if you have a business, let's say you have a restaurant, a food place, whatever, pay close attention to the fines, because the law is already passed. Okay, the ban on distribution is already passed. It's already effective. That was since March 31st. So if you still and we've been getting reports, trust me, we've getting many reports. Our officers have been going out issuing warnings and said, because here's the thing, the law doesn't say that we have to issue a warning. It's just out of common courtesy that we issue a warning.
Right.
The law says if we find you distributing, we can apply the penalty right then and there. But because we're trying to, work with people, we issue a warning and we say, hey, you're not supposed to do this, and
right.
we can issue a fine right now. So please work on not distributing these products.
And I want to encourage businesses and people to really be a part of the transition. I maintain, as I've been saying before, it's not the end of the world. I want to shift conversation now to look at illegal sand mining, and we have Dr. Eric Brown of the Forestry Unit. So illegal sand mining continues to be a major concern here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Can you explain how it threatens our environment and local communities?
Pleasant good morning. Thank you very much. Illegal sand mining, because of it's done outside of the general public's view, persons don't seem to realize how impacting it is. Sand is both, we talk about sand mining, we're talking about gut sand as well as beach sand. Now, here in St. Kitts, we more or less have two categories of beach sand. There is the black, and then there's what we call the golden or the brown. Now, the golden and the brown, I must tell persons now, is not to be used at all in construction, in anything. Nobody's supposed to bring brown or gold sand to you.
Really?
Yes, that's right. Okay. I'll go further and tell you there's only one area in St. Kitts that is authorized, officially authorized, to obtain beach sand, and that is Beltit. That's the area down there off of Sandy Point. Off of
Valley area.
So that is the only area in St. Kitts that it is allowed to obtain beach sand. Beach sand taken, even if it is black, from any other area is illegal. So we have persons, because they have trucks, they have backhoes, they have the equipment, they just go anywhere and take up sand. And this include golden sand or the brown sand, where we have seen on construction sites it have that. So I want us to repeat to folks, do not allow anyone to come and bring gold or brown sand to you, because you too can be prosecuted, because you're on the receiving end, right? You're a receptor of this. It's just like if I was to steal something and bring it to you and sell it to you, you also can be charged for a reception.
But I oftentimes hear people say it's okay to just go and take a bucket and take some sand. Is that a thing? Is that allowed?
According to the legislation, nothing more than a barrel.
Okay.
Nothing more than a barrel. So a person with a little bucket or something. Now, don't think you're going to go and take a whole 100 barrel and think you're going down.
Because to me, it adds up.
right? It adds up.
Yeah.
Right? Because normally persons would use sand also for, like, say, artisan purposes and those kind of things. So persons could, it allows you to do those small, very small quantities. But don't think you're going to take your barrow and going back and forth all day.
Now tell us about the hot spots. We're in St. Kitts Nevis, the hot spots where people go and take sand, and how is the department working to stop that?
I want persons to be aware that although we have some name hotspots, everywhere around St. Kitts to us is critical.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain to you the process as to why it becomes critical. Right now we're looking at the Great Heads area. That's the area where the shooting range is, where the salt pan is. That one is very frequented by the sand stealers, as I just call them. And then you have in the Keys Washgut area, where they have also gone there, and it's quite devastating to the beach. Now, I would ask the persons to consider this. You hear about, there's a popular expression, man, the sand and go back. You have seen a sand tree? You ever see a sand tree?
Have you?
I have never seen a sand tree. The grains that you see, they're not seeds to say that the sand going to grow. Sand do not grow back. What happens is this. The sand, by wave action, is moved from one spot to another.
Okay.
So therefore, what happens, the sand accumulates. And there are key areas due to the wave actions around the island where the sand is deposited. That's why we have the Beltate. Is a great area where you find sand is deposited by the seasonal movement. Now, where does this sand come from? The sand comes from different parts of the island. That is why when you go to any beach, you realize at certain time of the year, even at Frigate Bay or anywhere, but wait, where the sand gone? You want to know where? It's just that the wave action is moving the sand around. Moving the sand around. Now, if you go and take sand from areas that are not authorized, therefore the area that it is authorized will not be replenished. So you are disrupting the whole process. Somebody may argue, well, if the sand going down Beltate, I just catching it before you reach Beltate. But no, but when you do that, you are disrupting the whole ecosystem for where you're taking the sand from. Sand takes years, decades to form because the particles are off of seashells, rocks, done by the wave action. That takes decades to get just a little tiny grain of sand to be washed off of a rock or off a coral that is being crushed by the wave action. So when you do that, in the area that is not designated, it does not give it time to replenish.
What can the ordinary citizen do to help stop illegal sand mining?
See something, say something. Now, normally persons who would do this illegal sand mining, they normally use heavy equipment, trucks, backhoes.
Right.
Do not confront the persons. You don't want to cause a conflict. I don't want to cause a conflict between you and the person. They don't have to see you. But these equipment has a number.
License plate.
Many they have a logo. Take a picture. You got phones all over the place.
Right.
Right? Pretend you take a selfie. Take a picture. You can zoom in from a distance. Get me the number. Get me the logo that is on them. Or even if you can send me also a video, that would be great of them doing it. So you don't have to confront them at all. Right? And then you can also even go further. Give us a call. Right? Give us a call, we will come. A lot of the activities happen at night. If you notice some movement in an area that is not usual, man, you have to go down there. Don't put yourself in danger. We'll take the risk. You call us and we will go. But I want to appeal to these truckers, these persons who sell sand. You may come with me with the argument, your livelihood, but you are endangering your own livelihood by disrupting the process of replenishment of that sand, and you're doing something totally illegal. And what is the risk? You could be charged for that. If I catch you, if I come at your day, I will have the police impound your equipment because you're using it to commit a crime. And I will have your equipment. So imagine if your back are getting, and this is another thing. They have this thing of taking the equipment, and you think you're going to leave the site, especially if I get a video, your number. You think driving it off and I ain't catch you doing it, you're out of the, no. I will pursue you, even when you go and park it up. You put it in some bush, why you put it in, bush is my office. So we will pursue you. Once we could get that information to identify your equipment, we come in for it.
Right.
And we come in for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brown. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. Stay with us.
The Department of Environment, St. Kitts and Nevis, wants to remind the public that removing signs from unauthorized areas is strictly prohibited under the National Conservation and Environment Protection Act, Article 11, Section 31B, Part 5. Violations may face fines up to $10,000, imprisonment for up to 1 year or both, as well as forfeiture of any vehicle or equipment used in the violation. For information about authorized mining areas and further details, please contact 467-1081. Please comply with these regulations to avoid penalties and help protect our coastlines.
At ZIZ, we want to take a moment to salute our small business owners and encourage you to support them. Our small business owners are always hard at work providing quality goods and services to you. They also provide employment for many and can be counted on to give back to our communities. Today and every day, we salute our small business owners and we say thank you for the opportunity to provide advertising services to you. If you're a small business, call us at 465-2621 to join our family of small business advertisers. Call us 465-2621. You'll be glad you did.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
Same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse. What can I do? We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Carry Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge.
Jeff, you leaving already, boss? You sure you could drive after them drinks?
Yeah, I could handle it now. And if they far from here, I'm gonna take my time.
Oh my God, Jeff, you're gone. I told you not to drink and drive.
The problem with drinking and driving is the morning after. Drink responsibly. This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Nevis National Council on Drug Abuse Prevention in collaboration with SKNIS.
Get ready for Soul Beach Music Festival, May 21st to 26th.
Without you in my life.
5 days of music, comedy, and beach parties. Catch Cedric the Entertainer, Dougie Fresh, Uni Long, and Charlie Wilson.
Hey girl, How you doing?
Dance all night with DJ Jazzy Jeff, featuring local guest stars G Money and Outcast. Locals save 30%. Sponsored by St. Martin Tourism, Port St. Martin, Princess Juliana Airport. Visit soulbeach.com for details.
Welcome back to the Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me in the program for today. Dr. Brown, we wanted to look at, earlier spoke about beach sand and gut sand. I didn't even know there was something called gut sand. Could you explain what that is, please?
Okay, gut sand is what you take. It's called gut sand because traditionally it's taken from a gut, right? But it can be taken from other areas other than a gut. Is this coarser sand that you use in construction? The beach sand is normally used for finishing work, plastering and that kind of thing. But the more heavy duty work, concrete and those kind of thing you want to do, you use the heavier gut sand. Now, gut sand also only have one legal area, and that is at lodge. That's the only legal area that one can get gut sand. But persons again tends to go different areas where they see sand and just collect sand. What they are doing is that they are destabilizing the surrounding areas. And I will give you one example as to why this thing is dangerous. Washgut in Keon was once a legal sand mining site for gut sand. But what happened is that sand mine had to be closed rapidly. Why? After they took out the sand mining from the upper part of Washgut, persons went back in and the lower in there and start hitting the sides of the gut. Cut a long story short, on one side of the gut there was actually a development road. There was an actual road that was put there. It was not paved as yet. And next to that road, the road would be between the gut and the houses. Because of the effects of sand mining, that road was actually taken in. It actually caved in by the action of the sand mining. And persons didn't realize until a house owner realized the only thing left was not the road, but was his bunker. Somebody was driving, thinking they were driving up the road. The person didn't realize that they were actually driving on the person's yard until the person said, "Hey, you're driving on my yard." When the person came to me and I showed them, "Hey, you're inside the actually bone mark," the road was gone. And persons would do the sand mine not realizing, "Oh, I'm just getting sand, is my livelihood." But you are disrupting the surrounding areas. And what that does, the development that is to happen around that area many times have to be revisited because of the threat that disturbance has caused. So when somebody says, "But we can't get a house," you can't get a house because the area that was designated to put down residents is now compromised. Right? So therefore, we are appealing to persons, stop going up and down the place and trying to say you're looking sand. There's only one sand mine for gut sand, and that is at Lodge. Once again, if you are caught with taking equipment, trucking, and we're prosecuting you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Brown. Shifting to you, Akwanji, as the Youth Forum representative for the Global Sustainable Island Summit. Firstly, what is the significance of this summit for a country like St. Kitts and Nevis, small island developing state?
Well, I'll give some background information on what GSIS is. The Global Sustainable Island Summit is the third iteration of Island Innovations Summitry that they usually do. And it's been hosted in collaboration with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. The previous two versions were hosted in Portugal and Prince Edward Island, Canada. So the Global Sustainable Island Summit is really about island nations uniting in the interest of sustainability, climate change, climate resilience, and the like. And I think the significance for St. Kitts and Nevis would be the opportunity to collaborate in various aspects of sustainability, particularly in our local sustainable island state agenda, which is very critical to our advancement as a small island developing state into real sustainability in the near and distant future.
What will be your role at the forum, and what message do you hope to deliver to your peers?
Well, I work in the Ministry of Environment, but I am also youth leader. Particularly, I serve as the CARICOM Youth Ambassador for St. Kitts and Nevis. So the Youth Forum is a very critical event, similar to how GSIS is critical to island nations around the world. The Youth Forum is in the same vein, just for young leaders. And the message I want to echo to my peers is that sustainability shouldn't be a stranger to you. Like, you shouldn't interpret it as something to be you shouldn't deflect it.
Right.
Like, you should embrace it, because it's truly our survival. Like, it's not a principle that you should just cast to the side. And I want my peers to understand that our action is critical. Our action is critical to the decisions that are being made to shape the future that we are to inherit.
What is the conversation like now, though, with not just your peers, but people generally across St. Kitts and Nevis who you have engaged with as it relates to this Sustainable Islands Summit and anything else related to it? What has the conversation been like?
Well, we have a committee to steer the coordination of the forum, and the committee consists of persons from the ministry, including myself and another staff and other young leaders. And we have been engaging in robust campaign measures in different ways. We have been going on various radio stations. We have been undertaking a radio tour, as we like to call it. And various social media platforms have been utilized to get the message across. So I think the conversations have included positive feedback in how people are accepting the forum and what it is and what it presents itself as, what it includes. So I think we anticipate positive participation and a good turnout.
What outcomes or partnerships do you envision or you would like to see for St. Kitts and Nevis coming out of this summit?
Well, I'll start with the youth. I want us as youth from all around the world to be able to unite in the interests of sustainability and climate action. I want us to forge meaningful partnerships and alliances that would bolster our efforts towards youth inclusion in governance. And I want us to advocate for better circumstances when it comes to the youth voice and how it is included in the decisions that are shaping the future that we are to inherit. Like, we as youth don't want to be cast aside to the future. We don't want to watch as the leaders of now manage or mismanage in certain circumstances what they want to pass on to us in the future. Like, we're not just leaders of tomorrow. Like, we need to lead now. And for Jesus, I want that message to be broadcasted at the Jesus as well, because Jesus really features decision makers and world leaders, and I want them to know what the youth are thinking, not just from the Caribbean, not just from small islands, but from all over the place. And I want Jesus for St. Kitts and Nevis to create a gateway, like to put CISA on the map, to open the gates to investments, because our sustainable island state agenda, it really can't come to fruition with our local capital.
Right.
Like, we don't have the money for that. So I want us to forge meaningful partnerships, not just for empty investments, but for meaningful collaborations to drive our vision forward.
If you had one message or one word to leave with our listeners for today with regards to protecting our environment, what would it be?
Well, I would say that there's so much to say. But I would say that climate action is really our existence. Like, environmental sustainability is our livelihood at this point in time. Like, the earth is it's expendable. Like, it's not limitless. So the resources that we wish to exploit, thinking that they are infinite, we really need to tap into our conscience and we need to be more conscious.
Right. Dr. Brown, if you had one message or one word to leave with the audience as it relates to protecting our environment, what would it be?
Our environment is what determines our quality of life. And so therefore, it is of utmost importance that we safeguard our environment in all aspects. Safeguard our tree stands, safeguard our water sources, safeguard our mineral sources, which is the sand, the soil, and everything that is concerning the environment is what keeps our livelihood. It's what keeps us healthy. It's what keeps us going. That is our wealth that we have. So we need to preserve it.
Thank you. And before we get your final word, Dr. Francis, June is the month of activities for the Ministry or Department or Department of Environment. Can you share with me the highlights, the major events for the month, the major activities for the month, and then we get your final message?
Okay, well, June is Environment Month, and the theme for that month is ending plastic pollution. So we have some activities that we want the public to be involved with. We have the extreme hike. Dr. Brown maybe could talk a little bit about that. We have the forest dash. We have the environment open day, where the department should showcase some of the activities that we are involved with on a day-to-day. And we have some capacity building workshop. So for Environment Month, we want people to stick with the theme of ending plastic pollution, and so just get on board with the single-use plastic ban phase out. So we're not saying that if you have a t-shirt bag you cannot use it at home, because most people use it for garbage. We're just saying the businesses do not distribute it. Phase 2, we have the styrofoam container ban, and then phase 3, we have the single-use plastic cup, plates and utensil ban. Now, the reason for these bans is that, as Akwanje said, the environment is not infinite. What you'll realize is that at the landfill, we have some serious issues in terms of space.
Yeah.
And so when we did a comprehensive look at what are the waste, what is the makeup of the waste at the landfill, you realize that almost over 25% of the bulk and the quantity of waste that is at the landfill is the single-use plastics. So if you realize that the landfill that we started to do some recycling, but we don't have a robust recycling machine here in St. Kitts. So anything that you throw out, it will end up in the landfill. And then when that fills up, we still have to go find space. So we are trying to reduce the space. So we still come back to the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. But we want to cut the plastic pollution at the source, and that's at the distributors. So we just encourage the wider population to get involved and support this initiative in the phase out of the single-use plastics.
And what about schools, churches, community groups? How can they get involved?
So, for example, in schools we have, I think in schools and in many institutions we started the plastic bottle recycling initiatives, and then for the other phase out the single use, try to look for the alternatives. So there are many alternatives that exist. We recommend products that are made from paper, cardboard, jute, bamboo, mushroom, hemp, coconut fiber, wool. They exist. When we're trying to look at the costs concerned to plastic, we thought it would have been exorbitant, but then we realized it's just maybe 15%, 30% premium versus the plastic solution. And so we want people to get involved and try to reuse as much as possible, because we are a small island and we do not want to become we don't want to have that garbage problem that many other countries, especially islands, are dealing with.
Right. And your one message that you would want to leave with our listeners in terms of protecting the environment?
Again, the message that I want to leave to the listeners is that our environment includes us. So if you realize and you say, okay, why is this place looking like this? You have a part in that. You have a part to play in that. The environment is, as a learning school, everything around us. Okay? So if you want your environment to look good, you have to contribute to the environment looking good.
Awesome. You've been listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I've been your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining me in the program for today. Don't drink and drive, don't text and drive, don't eat and drive. Please take it easy. Until next time, you guys stay safe. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Goodbye.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
But Jeff, you leaving already, boss? You sure you could drive after them drinks?